Back here in Washington, two members of the Obama administration's Green Team found themselves on the defensive yesterday. The Senate Environment Committee held a hearing on the recent international climate email controversy. Both White House Science and Tech Advisor John Holdren and also EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson called to testify yesterday. And both of them were peppered with questions from senators over these controversial emails. Clean Skies' Dan Goldstein was there for the hearing. And Dan, we heard Steve Koonin from DOE mention this just a moment ago, the controversy involving the University of East Anglia overseas.
That's right, Tyler. And as you can see, obviously, this is pretty much what everybody is talking about. And certainly it's not what the White House and many Democrats want to be talking about. Now, it's important to note that the hearings that were held yesterday were not to talk as specifically about this emails, but you were sure that Republicans came loaded for bear with these questions about these emails, and that's exactly what they did. Now, you can hear from the White House point of view is, look, the science is still sound. We've still got a consensus on global warming. Hey, maybe these scientists, according to them, need to go to etiquette school, but they had done nothing illegal or unethical, and obviously they wanted to reassure as many people as they could that even if these emails came out, even if we have these hacked emails, that the science of global warming is still sound.
There is and there will remain, after the dust settles in this current controversy, a very strong scientific consensus on the key characteristics of the problem. Global climate is changing in highly unusual ways compared to long experienced and expected natural variations. The unusual changes match what theory and models tell us would be expected to result from the very changes in the atmosphere that we know have been caused by human activities, above all burning fossil fuels and tropical deforestation.
Now, that was John Holdren, the President's Chief Scientific Advisor at the House Select Committee on Energy Independence and Global Warming. That's chaired by Ed Markey of Massachusetts. But on the other side, on the Senate side, too, there was another hearing at the Environment and Public Works Committee. That was chaired by Barbara Boxer, and you can imagine, though, that her counterpart is James Inhofe, and he came loaded for bear with questions about this. This was supposed to be a hearing about toxic chemicals in foods, and this devolved, as you can imagine, into a debate over the emails, and that's exactly where the hearing went. Now, Republicans challenged Lisa Jackson to delay the endangerment finding because of these emails, and here's why. They said, and because that finding, though, is coming out later this year, the endangerment finding is because the EPA is going to regulate greenhouse gases, and how they came about doing that was based on part of the IPCC data. Now, that IPCC data was collected from the University of East Anglia's Climatic Research Unit, the one that Phil Jones headed, who is now stepped down temporarily. The Republicans say, look, if one of these numbers is wrong, they're all wrong. And this is how it went down in the Senate.
The reason I'm bringing this up with you is we're in the process of pursuing an endangerment finding right now. And the endangerment finding, according to almost everyone, including you, is based on the information given by the IPCC. So I would say that if we agree with Dr. Holdren that the science will work itself out, that we should suspend any further activity in the endangerment finding until the science is worked out.
From my perspective, I have been focused on the science that undergirds EPA's regulatory actions to date, and you're very familiar with them, Senator. And my ear is to the ground for any information that comes to light at any time, whether it's a result of this email issue or otherwise, that causes me to believe that the overwhelming consensus has changed. And while I would absolutely agree that these emails show a lack of interpersonal skills, as I would say to my kids, be careful what you write, and maybe more, I have not heard anything that causes me to believe that that overwhelming consensus that climate change is happening and that man-made emissions are contributing to it have changed.
Now, obviously, as you can hear, Democrats in the Senate were very eager to change the subject, and I can tell you, Tyler, this is the first time I've ever heard Democrats more eager to talk about formaldehyde than anything like emails before. And I can tell you this, Barbara Boxer, obviously, this was not what she wanted to be talking about, but this is what she had to say, and she said even though this hack occurred in the UK, she wants criminal charges if there's any sort of U.S. involvement, and she said this should not be called ClimateGate, this should be called email theftgate. So dueling narratives here, Tyler.
Looking through the trees and trying to find the forest, I imagine. Dan Goldstein reporting. Thank you, Dan.